Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Global Gaming Podcast. Sorry, episodes have been slow recently, but I've been dealing with some life stuff, and things have been a bit crazy for me recently. But I promise you, episodes should be coming very quickly soon. Speaking of which, before I go into the main topic, I have to give a little rant. We were supposed to record this a day earlier, but I took a brief nap and stuff, and my freaking alarm never went off.
Yeah,
So
a brief nap.
it was supposed to be a brief nap. It was supposed to be only a half an hour, but it ended up being an hour and a half. And I know for a fact I set my alarm, and I double checked it
Yeah,
afterwards. And I
this
definitely did.
platypus stood me up, really.
I double checked it before I did, and I checked it after I finished my nap, and it was definitely on. So I don't know why it just decided not to work, but I guess my phone decided, no, we're just not going to work today. But it made me feel really shitty, and I'm sorry, DolphinVi. I really did not mean to do that. But given it's the fact that's the first time I've ever stood you up, hopefully you can forgive me. Hopefully at least.
Yeah, after a couple beers, maybe.
Sounds good. Anyway, I guess we'll start with my in-progress review of Chromazia, a game made by one of our buddies, Sharky. We really should invite on the podcast. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I recently finally was able to get some money and bought his game, and it's a pretty interesting game. So far, I've kind of mixed feelings. The good about it is I really like the art style of it, like the simplicity of it, and the rock paper scissors idea behind it. There's a lot of little jokes I like that are in there. But as for some cons, one of my problems is I feel overall it's kind of a very slow game, and at times at times it can be pretty engaging, but other times it can be just really slow, and I'm just sort of like, come on. And I feel also I feel like when it first starts, it just sort of jumped right into it, which would normally be a good thing, but it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like
A
too
bit
much.
rushed.
Yeah, I'm the biggest supporter of a quick thing where it just jumps into gameplay, but this was a bit too much for me. It felt like it was just, here's some brief dialogue, right into it and stuff, and it just gave me a bit of whiplash. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Here's some brief dialogue. Oh, look, there's been a murder. Which I spoiled nothing because it happens in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, there's been a murder.
So far mixed review, and I'll be sure to give some sort of review of it on Steam when I get to at least the boss. I'm
Oh, yeah.
a little
Spoiler alert, you're going to die to the first boss.
Okay. After that, hopefully that'll be enough to give me at least somewhat of a review, and I'll be sure to review it. It sucks because I feel like I really want to love it, and I feel like there's a really great game that's trying to come out, but I feel like it's being suppressed by some things that are keeping it down. I don't know how I'd even fix it. I guess just maybe have a little bit more dialogue and whatnot before you're thrusted into it. But other than that, I don't know what else I would suggest really. But I am enjoying it, so there's that.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think I'm being unfair to the game? Do you think I'm being perfectly fair? What do you think?
It doesn't start off on the highest note, I do admit that. I really do like the characters in the story, though.
Yeah.
It just takes a little while to get going.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I get more into it the more it goes along. But either way, it is.
It's a turn-based strategic RPG, so it is going to be a bit slow, one way or another.
Oh yeah, I do understand that. It's just it's hard to put my finger on. There's something else about it that kind of bothers me that I can't put my finger on though. So now I'm just being vague for no reason. So you can ignore me now. So yeah, we'll be sure to post a full review on Steam when I play a little more of it. But anyway, In other news, the recent what was it called? Oh yeah, the recent KOTOR 1 remake, that fan remake that was being made in Unreal Engine 4 has received, I think, a cease and desist order from Lucasfilms, which kind of sucks. But like, what I'm not with controversial opinion, I'm not supporting them for what they did, but I understand where they're coming from, which DolphinVi disagrees with.
Yep.
So like
Well,
here's
we
like
all know
my
Lucasfilm at the moment just hates money.
well, here's the thing. I want to make it clear I'm not supporting what they did. I think it's shitty and kind of sucks. But from a business making perspective, I can understand. Because like as far as because like what if like they're not making any money off of the fan remake, and like I guess you could say, oh, what if it gets people interested in the game, the old game? And I guess that's true. But what if the opposite effect happens? What if people just say, oh, I don't want to play the original game because I can just get this remake version that has prettier graphics and then that could cost them like a lot of money.
Okay, the point is over here, PoppaG. You're way, way off to the south somewhere.
How am I off
The point
point?
isn't to get people interested in the original game, it's to get people interested in Star Wars again. Something which Lucasfilm has been making incredibly difficult at the moment.
Well, like, how
There's
do you?
Star Wars
Sure,
games, there's an entire expanded universe out there, which KOTOR does cover. That's the point.
well, like,
Get them interested and
well,
get
how do
them
you know
buying your
that's the
stuff.
point? How do you know that's the point of the remake? How do you know it's not just a bunch of fans who love the original and want to see it remade in Unreal Engine 4?
But whether or not they intended it doesn't matter. That's going to be the effect.
Like, who are you to say what the effect is? How do you know that it won't just steal a bunch of sales away from BioWare for one of their old games they made?
People who are going to get the enhanced version over the original version were going to do that anyway.
I mean, yeah, but like, yeah.
So it's not a lost
they,
sale.
Well, like here's the thing though: if they take away the enhanced version, they don't have any lost sales. Now they have no choice but to play the original version.
Well, or they just pirate the original version,
Again, I'm
which
not
they
saying I
probably
agree
would
with it. I'm
do if
just
they're
saying it
going
makes
to
sense
only get the
from a greedy
enhanced.
business making perspective.
And so now basically you're defending Nintendo business practices if you go down that route,
Hello?
PoppaG. Do be careful.
Hello?
I'm still here.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I can't hear you. Is something wrong with your mic?
Hello?
Oh, I can hear you now. That was weird. You cut out there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have anything to say? As I was saying, like, what were you saying when I couldn't hear you?
Mm-hmm.
What are you
No.
saying when? What?
But I've lost my place now.
Okay, I'll just repeat what I said originally. What I like if they take away the enhanced version, now no one will buy the enhanced version, and they'll have no choice but to buy the original version. So, thus making them more money. Not saying it's a good thing again, but I'm not
if you
saying.
take away the enhanced version, people are not just going to buy the original version.
How do you know?
People who aren't going to buy the original version and want the game for free, they wouldn't buy the original version anyway. And everyone else would already have the original version.
We're just at this point we're just saying like neither of us have data to back this up, so both of us are kind of talking out of our ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you say so, PoppaG.
Like, why you? However, I'm not defending them for the record. I'm just saying that is what I think.
Yeah, we know.
So like, what else? What else am I trying to think? Like, also like in general, this is a thing. Like this doesn't just apply to like this game either. It's like there's a lot of other like there is a precedence for this. Like there's a bunch of other times that it's happened. Like with another Metroid 2 remake, like Nintendo did that, and again, I don't think it's good, but like they were in their legal right to do it. Another example was
they are in their legal right to do it. That doesn't mean it's a smart idea.
Oh yeah, but it's but what else another
Microsoft was within their full legal right to lock everything behind a paywall. Didn't mean it was a good idea to do.
yeah. Yes, but it's like my problem is a lot of people will like take the moral high ground and say the people who got like rid of these fan made remakes like are completely soulless and completely this and blah 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 when it's like a little more complicated than that. And like there isn't here's a better example. Like Capcom shut down apparently a Resident Evil 2 remake. Um uh Resident Evil 2 remake in the what engine was it? Oh yeah, in Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 4 is used for everything. But
Yeah. And there's
given the
reasons
fact
for that.
like there are reasons for what? Them shutting down the Resident Evil 2
No,
remake?
that Unreal Engine 4 is being used for a lot of things.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's for Resident Evil 2, let's take this for example. Let me like change the scenario a bit. For Resident Evil 2, they're actually making a remake for it. So would you agree that it's in their best intentions to get rid of that um uh fan made remakes so it wouldn't compete with their version?
So they're making a remake of Resident Evil 2.
People were Capcom is making an official remake of Resident Evil 2, but for that, some fans are making a fan-made version in Unreal Engine 4 before it got shut down by Capcom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Capcom was in can you see do you think Capcom are completely in the right then, since the fact that they actually are trying to make a remake of it?
In that case, I could see why they would do it.
Yeah.
As that's not the case in Lucasfilms, though. I don't see why it works.
I also want to state this for the record. I am not on Lucasfilm's side with this. I think it's a shitty thing to do. I mean, I think the original game is still really great and still perfectly playable today, but it would have been cool to see a reimagined version of it, you know. But can't say I was surprised when I heard it happen, but I am sad. Hopefully, they'll be able to get it revived and out somehow, but I highly doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, though, the point is it's a kind of shitty thing that happened, and it sucks.
It also brings the fact I'm really mad that Konami tried to shut down a Castlevania remake for the Unreal Engine 4. When it's clear they have no interest in the franchise anymore. They can't even bother to remake it.
Yeah,
the most they've done is a remake of 2 games for the PS4.
Yeah, I don't know. Now that I think about it, I don't know. In that case, I guess there's a little more wiggle room considering the fact that they're literally doing nothing with the franchise. But still, I'm not saying it's good, but technically, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to realize some of the problems with my philosophy. So,
You have a philosophy?
I have several philosophies. They just come out really stupid a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Hey, weren't you a philosophy major at some point?
I took an ethics class.
An ethics class?
Yeah, in high school, you never heard of an ethics class? They talk about ethics and
no
moral dilemmas.
Well, no, I'd say the fact that you're probably on this podcast means you probably failed that course.
Actually, I got really good score in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really good
By
debater.
being very unethical, probably.
I'm a really good debater because I look at both sides, and even when I disagree with them, I try to argue for the other point of view.
Yeah, which is what I do as well, but I wouldn't describe myself as being the most ethical human being.
I'm not the most ethical human being ever, but I would say the point of ethics class isn't to be an ethical human being. The point is to learn about debate and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And then in the real world, you learn that being a successful human being is being as unethical as possible. By being polarizing as you can be.
Well, I guess it depends on what point of view, from a certain point of view, you know.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump is the most successful human being in America right now. I wouldn't call him the most ethical, unpolarizing person there.
Well, some people would, but they're Trump fanboys, so...
I mean, let's be honest about that. He got into power by being as controversial and divisive as he could be.
Yeah.
I guess the same could be said of Alex Jones. Maybe that's...
Yeah.
where we're going.
One thing that always bothers me about Trump is no matter who I seem to hang out with, I always get accused of like I either get accused of being a Trump supporter, or I get accused of hating Trump, like all because I'm like generally disinterested in him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I guess I can say this since I know my parents will listen to the podcast. But one thing that constantly happens with my parents is that they'll bring me in to see an interview with Trump, and they'll do this a lot, where like he does a good job, and where an interviewer is like really hard on him, and like I'll just be disinterested because they've shown it to me a dozen times of Trump like debate like being interviewed really hardly by someone, and he's able to like turn it around on them and like do a good job on it, and it's like I get kind of sick of it just because I've seen it like so many times. It's like seeing a dog do a neat trick. The first time you're kind of interested in it, but like by the second or third or 100th time, you start to be like, I'm sick of this trick. Can you stop it now?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's my little rant.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's wonder, wouldn't it be awkward if you passed an ethics class by being as unethical as possible?
yeah.
Would that be a failure of you or a failure of the course? I'm not sure.
Well, I passed an ethics class because like I did a good job debating and seeing the other side of the coin. At least like according to my ethics teacher. Like yeah, no, I do a bad job about it sometimes on the podcast, but like if you get me on an issue that I'm really passionate about and whatnot, I can be a pretty good debater.
Okay. So what's an issue you're really passionate about then?
What's an issue I'm really passionate about? I mean, most of the ones that come to mind right now are things that like literally everyone with a sane mind agree with, like just because like gaming doesn't cause violence or whatnot.
Okay, what about gaming censorship?
I think it's pretty bullshit, and like people.
Okay, this belief that if we make games too sexy, then people will become violent, rapist, horrible psychopaths, which ties into a topic we're going towards. What do you think of that?
I mean, like, I'm not saying it's impossible in stuff entirely, but it's like, I think most of those people that would affect or would happen to are so crazy that they would have happened to them no matter what. You know?
Oh, good. Then in that case, you can disagree with Sony doing what they did to Xseed.
And like, what did Sony do to Xseed?
Well, Xseed is releasing the next Senran Kagura game for PC and PS4, but on the PS4 version, they've censored quite a lot of content.
What have they?
Yes, by the order of Sony.
What have they censored?
You clearly don't know much about Senran Kagura to ask that question, do you?
No, I really don't. This is the first time I've ever heard of Senra Kagura, honestly.
In that case, watch the Discord. I'll get some images for you. Okay, that's the first image that came to mind.
Okay. I see. How do you spell this? Senra Kagura?
Senran Kagura.
Can you spell it in Discord chat? I need to know for science reasons.
I'm sure you do need to know for science reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely tell this game is like about a certain type of science, and it is meant for truly the high IQ individuals.
Yeah, indeed. I'm sure you can totally tell what a high IQ individual this is meant for. But...
well, if I do get the game, I'll be sure to get it on PC. Probably would have got the game on PC anyway, since PC is objectively the best. Hey, you got me using objectively. But look at you.
Yep. I've won him at last. I've won him to the objective side.
To a degree. You run me to a degree. I've come to admit that yes, objectivity does exist to a degree. Anyway, yeah, that really, I think that's kind of stupid and dumb.
Yep.
I mean, It seems like the whole appeal of this game is just to be, like, just some edgy, fun girls and some guys, or maybe girls jack off to and whatnot, and I can respect that, and like I don't know why they feel
But
like
it's meant to be fun, but sexy as well. It's kind of like Akiba's Trip.
So it's not just like it's not just a shitty game that just has sex appeal. It's a game that has sex appeal and is fun.
Yeah, you can be both.
No, I know it can be both.
Akiba's
I'm just like
Trip's definitely both.
well, like I know it can be both. I just automatically assume they're always just like I don't know why I automatically assume it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sony's allowing you to sell it, so it must be that way. That really strikes me as weird. Nintendo is really embracing big, mature content, and now Sony's trying to get rid of it. It's like, wait,
Yeah,
isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Whoa. I mean,
yeah, it is really kind of really weird when you think about it, because like if like Sony has a lot of like I wouldn't say like really dark stuff, but it has some quite the mature titles on it. But it wants to like censor that thing. Meanwhile, Nintendo has well,
Doom,
I'm trying to think some
Wolfenstein.
like I mean it has Doom Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
But, like,
and it has Breath of the Wild, where you can cross-dress into an all-woman village and do all kinds of other violent stuff.
Like cross-dressing is more socially acceptable nowadays. If it did it like 10 years ago, then it would raise some eyebrows. Nowadays, it's like, you're cross-dressing.
And the main boss of the game is some sort of eldritch abomination.
Well, like, I'm trying to think, is there any, I'm sure there is, are there any, like, Nintendo Switch or 3DS games that, like, are like, sexy or something, or sexy girls? I know there's some in Japan, but there are some that are available in America.
I don't know of any yet, though they're accepting a lot more games on there, especially the M-rated ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't think of the names off the top of my head. They're weird Japanese ones.
I know, like, yeah, like, what I'm trying to say is I know for a fact that there are some, like, Nintendo games, either on the 3DS or Switch, that are, like, sexy, or, like, are supposed to make jack off to it or whatnot, but I can't remember their names. And I know some of them have either been censored or outright just banned in the US or something, so I'm trying to, like, see how they've been more open to that, too, because if they have been, that's another thing you could get Sony on, is that, hey, even Nintendo's introducing, like, jerk-off simulator, so why can't you?
Well, I'm guessing Nintendo figured out with the Wii U, just trying to market to kids, probably not the best idea.
Which is actually kind of funny.
Market instead to older teenagers, because kids will follow what they do anyway. And kids will follow what they do.
It's funny, which this works. What I'm about to bring up works on several angles. So one funny thing is that's definitely a good sign to show that it didn't work is so in Japan they did some remasters for Yakuza 1 and 2, like the PlayStation 2 versions, not the PlayStation 4 remakes, like they did for like PlayStation 3 and Wii U, I think. And like they were like basically like the original PlayStation 2 titles with small modifications. And apparently the Wii U version only sold, and like they don't expect to find them in America unless you like import them, because they were only ever released in Japan. But the Wii U version in Japan only sold 2,000 copies. That's right, only 2,000 copies. That's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring that up. I wonder if like that had to do with the marketing around with the Wii U, or there probably several factors now that I think about it.
I guess the marketing was a big part.
Because
even
of that,
the
like,
commercials where they did actually market the Wii U, if you think about their marketing, it was all annoying little kids bugging their parents to buy the Wii U. I mean, well, yeah, it is. You can look it up.
No, I know.
I mean,
I know.
Who likes annoying little kids? Nintendo. Other annoying little kids. Doesn't like them. Everyone else. Same thing with the Switch. They just completely turn that around. Let's market to young adults instead, because kids will naturally follow what they do.
And the few times they did, and because of that, the few times they did sell mature games on the system, they mostly did poorly. At least, as far as I know, they did. At least the Yakuza 1 and 2 remake did poorly, because they only sold 2,000 freaking copies.
And now they're actually selling an upgraded Switch in 2019.
Yeah. Because of that, apparently the Yakuza devs aren't as interested in like supporting like Nintendo some of their games right now because like they're have a bit of cold feet over only selling 2,000 copies. So you understand where they're
Mm,
coming from. So I always take any chance I can get to top out Yakuza. It's like my thing now.
yeah, we know. I mean,
I
it's a
know it's annoying.
platypus thing. They love Yakuza.
I know it's probably really obnoxious and stuff and not funny at all, but who cares? I'm
And
still
we
gonna
all have
do
our
it.
quirks.
I
I
mean,
mean,
when
where would we be without our quirks, really?
yeah, I don't know. We'd be lifeless robots, I guess. Um.
Mm.
Also, speaking of Sony, recently there's been some PlayStation 4 hacks. Is that correct?
Yeah, there has been.
Now, I've heard of this, but I don't know all the details behind it. So, can you inform me as well as the audience at home the details surrounding this hack? Like,
People have figured out how to jailbreak a PS4. Now, for
what
those
is that?
who are
What is
not in the know-how of the tech community, that basically means you've figured out how to do things that are on a closed environment, which the PS4 is, that you normally would not be able to do. Like, for
like?
example, run homebrew programs, or even install a program like Linux on the PS4.
Could you also install mods?
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, you can install them on the Xbox, so you could install mods on the PS4, in theory. I mean, how well
Well,
they would work would be kind of
well,
off.
technically you
So you could
well,
already install Linux and therefore Steam on the PS4 as well, if you want to go out there. And
technically you
nowadays
could.
there are people who are trying to sell these jailbroken PS4s, and Sony has not reacted very kindly to them.
I see. I will say, what was I going to say? Technically, you can install some mods on the PlayStation 4, technically via Fallout 4, but we don't talk about Fallout 4.
I don't recognize that as a Fallout game.
And you've never played any other Fallout game, right?
I play Fallout 3.
So play New Vegas as well as Fallout 1 and
And
2.
New Vegas.
Fallout 1 and
Fallout
2 are
4 was just, ugh, ew, 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 ew. What was that?
Fallout 1 and 2 are pretty good.
Mm.
As well as the original Fallouts. They are made by Black Isle Studios.
Mm.
But also, yeah, Fallout New Vegas, I would highly recommend definitely adding some mods to Fallout New Vegas. Like, not because it's inherently a bad game, it's inherently a great game, but like, there are some really good quest mods out there for Fallout New Vegas, so I would highly
That's good to know.
Anyway, what else is going on? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, so do you, Sony has threatened to sue, these people selling the jailbroken PlayStation 4s, right?
Yes.
That sounds. I don't know if I should say that sounds anti-consumer or if that's reasonable. Because to be fair, they did fuck with the PlayStation 4s, and now they're trying to sell them. But at the same time, they technically own.
Well, you're allowed to sell a PlayStation 4. That's fine.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like, I was about to say like it's their system; they can do whatever they want with it. But at the same, technically, Sony owns the PlayStation 4 too. I don't know. I have to learn more about the legalities of these sort of things before I make my.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so they made modifications to it. People put different hard drives or even SSDs in the PlayStation 4 as well.
Oh yeah. Also,
you don't get them there.
I just thought of a new game to play and I may do this every podcast, depending on if I remember it or not. I'm going to take a widely hated thing, and you have to say one or two good things about it, even if it's something like really surface level or whatnot. So, our first one is the game is Fallout 4. Say something nice about it.
It has an ending.
Oof. Anything else?
There's a way to shut up Preston Garvey.
Okay. I have one actually nice thing to say about Fallout 4. My nice thing to say is, well, two nice things. One thing is I actually kind of like the companion system. It's not the deepest thing ever, but it's like, I kind of like, it's like, if they were to take that system and leave it unchanged in the potential Fallout 5 and stuff, I wouldn't mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just everything else I'd want changed. Does that make any sense? Is that fair? Or am I being too nice? What?
You like the companion system, fine.
You sound angry to have to say that.
That's just how I sound.
Another
I mean, come
nice
on, I'm
thing was
DolphinVi, it's how I always sound.
another thing is the overall shooting is pretty decent. Sound good?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Here's
But again,
another.
it's a shooter game. The shooting is decent. That's not exactly much of a compliment.
Yeah. Here's another. Here's another one that you're gonna have to say something nice about. Kathleen Kennedy. Say something nice about her.
Something nice about Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, I have a good one. So.
She has a nice suit. There.
Okay. Well, my thing is, despite her recent blunders, she's overall, at least according to her track record, is a somewhat decent producer. Because she's produced a lot of films that have been really big successes.
Well,
like,
that means nothing.
Well, something nice about her. And like her job is being a producer. She's produced a lot of films that have been both critically and financially successful. I would say that's pretty important to being a good producer. Wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Under no measurement, though, does that qualify you to be head of creative department.
True, exactly. So that's say something nice about someone / something for the session. Tune in next week, assuming I remember it.
Oh no, we're not done yet.
Okay.
We have another one, PoppaG. You've put me through hell, so now it's your turn.
Okay.
Say something nice. Let's say 2 nice things about Clean Prince Gaming.
Okay, I will. He really knows how to rake in the views. He knows how to clickbait, he knows how to market, and he knows how to get his videos seen by a lot of people. That is something that a lot of people are able to do, but to be fair, there's a decent amount of YouTubers that do it, but like he seems to have a particular talent for it because he's able to convince a lot of people that he isn't clickbait when he really is and stuff.
There's something nice, PoppaG. You're letting your
Like,
bias show a bit there.
He's good at convincing people that he isn't clickbait when he really is. Like, he has series like It Didn't Just Die, It Was Murdered, and a lot of people just say, oh, that's just a series and stuff, but the series itself is clickbait. Because, like, I can't even get into why it's clickbait, because if you need me to explain in detail why his thumbnails are in titles are clickbait, then, like, I don't know what to say to you. And let me think of one more good thing to say about him. Let me go to his channel, see what he's. Oh yeah, one other good thing is he's recently admitted that he could be better, and that he has occasionally admitted that he's been wrong. That takes some. That's something not all people can have done, and I'm impressed by that. However, I don't know if he'll actually will change and stuff. I think he'll probably just say he changes, and I think he'll just say he's gonna change, and then nothing will actually change.
Yeah. Okay, now we've seen PoppaG struggle. What should we do next?
I
mean, there really weren't a lot of topics available for this week.
Well, okay, you know what? Now that we're on this, I have to do one more, just because I thought of one more. And you can do one more to me if you want. Say something nice about 10-2.
Who?
Final Fantasy 10-2.
Final Fantasy 10-2. That's difficult. I don't know, I mean, because they ruined one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, I'm not sure what to say about it.
Oh, but by the way, I want to say for the record, I got this idea from a Twitter post I saw like over a year ago, which was someone saying, "This is Todd Howard. Say something nice about him," during a time where Bethesda was facing a lot of controversy. And so from there, I got this idea of, why don't I turn that into a series where I take something controversial and I say something nice about it. Anyway,
okay, graphics. It has good graphics.
Okay. I heard the combat system is decent. You could say that.
It's hit and miss, the combat system, but that way.
Okay, fair enough.
I would say the
Anyway,
Final Fantasy 13 combat system was a bit better.
fair enough.
Well,
Oh, you
that or
said
I think Lightning Returns innovated on the Final Fantasy X-2 combat system.
the funny that the best part is you just said something nice about Final Fantasy 13, and everyone knows if you say something nice about Final Fantasy 13, puppy dies. I'm joking. I'm joking. I've actually heard Lightning. I actually like what I've heard that like Lightning Returns is actually the best overall in terms of gameplay in the series. So
Mm.
I haven't actually played any of 13 ever. So
You need
talking
a
about my mouth.
controller.
Why do I need a controller? Is keyboard and mouse playable for that?
The keyboard is playable, the mouse isn't, and the keyboard controls are absolute shit.
Okay, fair enough.
Honestly.
Anyway, is there anything else we could talk about, or should we end the podcast here for the night?
I could whine more about Lightning Returns keyboard controls. In fact, I could probably do an entire review video about that.
Sure, I guess we could start here and then maybe
switching the paradigms makes absolutely no sense. Keys are too far apart. You use keyboard keys to control the camera. And yes, keyboard keys, not like the, I don't know, maybe this thing that we're used to moving around that typically controls a camera.
Mouse.
Oh, good. The whole thing was just awfully designed. And these are the same people who designed the keyboard controls of Final Fantasy 15, which uses the mouse. Why can't you use that?
Well, Final Fantasy 15 came after 13, so...
Still uses the mouse.
Oh, okay.
No, the game is good, but the PC port was just, it was really lazily done. You can often tell by the keyboard controls.
Fair enough.
And with 13.2, you have to turn off Steam Cloud integration. Or else the game crashes.
Here's one other... This is a bit random, but here's one other question I just came across from someone on Twitter. And it says, in a story-driven RPG, which dialogue system do you prefer? Voiceless, voice acting, but less choices, or no voices and more choices? What do you prefer?
Voiceless and more choices, was that one?
You have no voice, but you have more choices. Or you have a voice, but you have less choices.
I'll pick have a voice.
Why is that?
Because all RPGs end the exact same way anyway. There's only illusion of choice.
I guess, but like, I would choose like no voice and more choices. Just because like some RPGs don't end the same way, a la Fallout New Vegas, and also I like to sort of role play my character or give my character like a personality or whatnot, and I feel like that'll work better if I have more choices.
No, I just don't like the idea of giving your character a personality.
Why not?
Because it usually always comes down to you're either an angel of mercy or you're an absolute dick.
Well, not my character.
Those do tend to be the only personalities you get stuck with.
Well,
and if you're in between, you get nothing done.
Well, that's not true. Like, you can be an in-between guy in Fallout, in most Fallout games, and you can get a lot done.
Mm-hmm.
You can. You need to play Fallout New Vegas as a neutral guy, so come on. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot.
Look at something. Panic Button is working on the Switch port of Warframe.
What? Oh yeah, that's...
And they've somehow made every version of the game run better while doing it. Okay. So, Panic Button is one hell of a company.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't hear about the first part about Panic Button porting Warframe. That's been going around for a while.
Well, yeah, I knew that. It was what's happened as a result.
Oh yeah, so it's like even it runs better than the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Alright, I'll send it to you.
Wow, that really is impressive. Like Panic Button is one talented studio. Really, it's like they're really getting some notoriety recently.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's Rocket League, Doom, and Wolfenstein 2. They've gotten work on the Switch so far.
Yeah. And I think they've also worked on some other ports for some other systems. I think they worked on like a VR, like a PlayStation 4 port of some VR game. Can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, but who cares about that? They're gonna work with the Switch.
Fair enough.
PlayStation VR, yeah, it was a good idea on paper. It just didn't really pan out that well.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
with the PlayStation 5, maybe it could get better.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully it'll get better.
And the thing is, apparently PlayStation 5 is supposed to have VR in the box.
Supposedly, yeah.
Could be cool.
So, hopefully, so like, why do you, well, never mind. I was just about to ask a stupid question, but I decided, since it's stupid, I'm not going to ask it. But, in other news, this is weeks late, but apparently the Venom movie is a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge surprise, right?
A Venom movie without Spider-Man in it. I could already see that not ending well. And not even the right origin story.
It's, I think you could make anything good. Like, just because they changed a few things doesn't mean it's not good. It's just, it's not good probably because it's not good.
Yeah,
well,
but why is Venom good? He's good because he's an enemy to Spider-Man. And in many ways, a foil to Spider-Man. You take Spider-Man out of the movie.
Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard that Venom's like a good guy in the movie. I don't like that. I wanted a bad guy movie. Like, why do you have to make the bad guy a good guy? I think
Venom is not exclusively a bad guy. He can be an anti-hero at times as well.
Fair enough. Also, I'm jumping around everywhere, so I'm finding stuff everywhere as I look up stuff. But like, apparently, Fallout 76 on the Xbox One X is a downgrade from Fallout 4. That's kind of funny.
What they were thinking with 76, I don't know.
I don't know.
Are they just trying to murder the Fallout series? What is it?
Maybe it'll be a good game. I say it like where there's very little.
I mean, they've already made Fallout 4, so it shouldn't be surprising.
Never know.
I mean, the dialogue twists in that game were just terrible. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, we'll edit out that silence, as uncomfortable as it was.
Fair enough.
So,
what was there? To say.
I mean, there really hasn't been a lot of news lately, has there?
Yeah. Maybe we should end it here for now.
I'm sure we can find something else. We need to keep this gameplay going.
Fair enough.
Yeah, everyone needs to see how terrible I am at playing The Darkness 2 on PC. Guess this game's clearly not with a PC in mind.
Apparently, Star Wars Episode 9 will feature more improvisation than previous films, says Oscar.
Because it worked. Yeah, it worked so well for the Ghostbusters, didn't it?
That's literally the exact same thing that Rag said. Oh my god.
But well, there was a lot of improv in the Ghostbusters.
Like, to be fair, improv can be good or bad. Like, there are some whole comedy shows that are built on
in a comedy movie, it's not good though. Not always.
I forget what it's called. Like, the Rat Pack does a lot of improv, and they're like super well loved and hilarious. You know? Like, there are a lot of comedians that make their whole career off improv. But why is it worse for movies though?
Because a movie should have a set script. I mean, there can be some improv, but there's always too much of a good thing.
Fair enough.
Especially if you're trying to do a comedy movie and some of the jokes don't always hit. Or if, like in Ghostbusters, people get the idea, if no one's talking, no one's laughing. I mean, there are plenty of jokes that could have hit very well, but you weren't given the chance to actually appreciate them. Because people would not shut up.
And I agree.
Have you ever seen that one?
See what one?
Ghostbusters.
No, I haven't.
Okay, give him to The Last Jedi instead, because that's a comedy movie. And yes, it is. I mean, you can
It
watch it again. It is structured like a comedy movie.
It does have a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. And you can watch some of the deleted scenes as well if you really doubt that it was not meant to be a comedy movie.
I've seen one or two of them, and yeah, some of them are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've come to the conclusion that yeah, The Last Jedi is kind of bad, but I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's quite as bad as some people put it up to be. My personal opinion. Is that a bad opinion?
I'm sure you'll come around eventually. Well, at least when episode 9 comes around, probably. But who knows, episode 9 might be worse.
What's wrong with me saying it's not as bad as some people say it is?
Well, it is a terrible movie.
Wanna know what's funny? For years and years, I was saying in YouTube comment sessions or forums that the prequels don't ruin Star Wars like some of you guys say it does, because like it doesn't like destroy anything that the original trilogy set up or whatnot. And a lot of people said, "Shut up, faggot! You don't know what you're talking about." And now what's going on?
Yeah,
now
come on, that's ridiculous. You're not a faggot. Not that I know of.
Like, now what's happening though? Now that the new films are out, and now everyone's saying that the prequels didn't ruin anything because blah blah blah. Literally the exact same thing I was saying years ago, but I was called an asshole for saying it. Well, who's laughing now, assholes?
You expect the internet to be consistent, PoppaG? Come on, you should know better than that.
I find it funny because, like, I was saying, like, if a sequel film comes out and ruins this and that, then it would have ruined Star Wars. But, like, the prequels as is don't ruin it because they don't ruin any of the great moments in the originals. And they're like, I was told that I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. You're a prequel defender, blah, blah, blah. And now it just like, feels good to when I'm, like, whenever I hear people saying the exact same thing I did, but, like, I said it years earlier, all I can sit back and smile as I'm like, ha, told you so, guys.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even Jar Jar Binks didn't ruin Star Wars. And yeah, I said that. Thankfully, he gets what's coming to him in the expanded universe.
What happened to him in the expanded universe?
He loses his job, gets banished to Coruscant, and then becomes a clown.
Really?
Yeah, really. You can look that one up. Yeah, I mean, it was for his part in giving the Empire all its power. He's fired from his job.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he doesn't die. He doesn't become Darth Jar Jar, or whatever it is the internet thinks he is. No, he becomes a clown instead.
Is it, like, morally wrong to like anything about The Last Jedi? I'm wondering if, like, one day that'll be... Like, cause so many people hate it so much, I'm kind of scared to even say, like, I kind of, like it. Guilty pleasure.
I guess you don't like some parts of it, isn't just don't like all the parts that did ruin things. Like, what did Luke Skywalker? Like, why did you do that, Rian Johnson? Why?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you caused an entire video to be made about the milking scene and why it ruins Luke Skywalker as a character and why it was necessary.
But I want you to repeat after me though. That it is okay to like The Last Jedi.
You can like parts of it.
Is it okay to like it though? Is it okay to say I like it? Like, say I say it's an
It depends on why.
Film. Say I say it's an objectively bad film, but I still like it. Is that okay?
If that's truly what you are going to say, PoppaG, well then don't worry. I will not banish you to some distant planet somewhere.
So are you saying it is okay to think that? Is it okay to think that? I'm just asking. I'm trying to learn.
I'm not going to attack you for liking it. I'll heavily disagree.
Also, here's a news article I just found, and I knew about this for a while. I completely forgot about it. Apparently, Microsoft is planning on buying Obsidian Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know how to feel about this, with some acquiring Obsidian. One of two things could happen. One, they could get, a lot of money to make more better projects in the future, or they could go the Rareware route when Microsoft acquired them, where they stop making good games and start making bad games.
Yeah.
So, hopefully it's the former rather than the latter. What are your thoughts on this? Like, do you think it's a good thing that Microsoft is acquiring Obsidian?
Not entirely. I mean, I'm always careful about what exactly Microsoft's going to do with them all.
Hopefully.
I mean, sure, they're not EA, but they do have a reputation for ruining game studios. Not quite as bad as EA, though. So there is a concern there.
I'm worried. I wonder if, like, years from now, it'll be the accepted opinion that if you like The Last Jedi, you should be hung from the cross.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to hung you for the cross for watching a movie. And plus, you get hung on a cross, you get crucified on a cross.
Okay.
Yeah, which is even more painful and actually even worse than hanging, because you have to hang from your hands and you slowly die of asphyxiation, feeling extreme pain the entire time till you pass out and then wake up again due to more extreme pain. Yes, fun! This is a family-friendly podcast.
No, I'm just like, what I'm saying is I just want to live in a world where everyone's happy and can get along and we can all debate about Star Wars in a healthy way without devolving into you're a racist for liking it, no, you're a racist for not liking it, and other stupid bullshit, you know? Or you're an SJW for liking it, you know what I mean?
We live in a world that crucified a guy for saying he liked religion and disagreed with it. Do you remember what world we live in, PoppaG? Our time is really not that different from back then.
Fair enough.
I'm living in a world where you're accused of being a terrible person for disagreeing with someone like Anita Sarkeesian. Although thankfully she has faded away into irrelevancy.
I don't know. I just wish healthy debate was a thing that existed and wasn't just a concept that we all tell ourselves to go to sleep.
It's never going to happen, but I respect you for wanting it. There are far too many people who have a vested interest in not letting healthy debate happen.
Fair enough. But yeah,
And yeah, I posted the Jar Jar Binks there, so yeah, he becomes a clown in the original version.
Thank you. I always wondered what happened to him after episode 3.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened?
I mean, he doesn't die on the Alderaan, he doesn't become Darth Jar Jar or anything, he gets fired from his job and he becomes a clown for his role in helping the Empire rise.
So, before we go, do you want to talk about the whole, controversy around the rape scene that happened recently in certain anime, or do you...
Oh, Goblin Slayer?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was a pretty good story. I don't know what everyone's going on about it.
I haven't seen it. I just, like, at the risk of sounding SJW, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to comment on it, but I do want to comment on the nature of rape in media. Like, I'm worried I'm going to sound like an SJW for this, but, like, hear me out. I feel like, what is it called? What is it called?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, like, my problem is... Oh, yeah, I remember now. Sorry, my brain walked somewhere else from me. I feel like rape can sometimes be overdone in some media, or that it can be used to be really emotionally manipulative in a disgusting kind of way. Like, I can't really think of a good example. Well, I guess I can't think of a good example, one that I know personally. I only know of ones that I've been told were really bad. Like, apparently in one anime called Mirai Nikki, it's in a way to gauge sympathy for a character, and like kind of disgusting in a way. And but like I feel like rape. I don't know. Rape is rape is never like done well in the way that it makes you feel good. But like I feel like one that was time it was done really well in terms of like doing what it needed to do was, I think, Berserk. And like because like Berserk, like, have you ever read Berserk?
No.
Or watched it? Well, long story short, there's this big like sort of climax to a certain arc where things are really fucked up and things are bad. And, like, one character is raped right in front of like another character. Like, a character is forced to watch it, and like that whole scene, like, it made me feel like disgusted and really uncomfortable. Like, not like having a fun time, but like that's the point. It was supposed to make you feel disgusted, uncomfortable, and like not happy with the situation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like when like rape is used like that, it's like all right, but like
One thing. Maybe Goblin Slayer kind of does it that way. I don't know. You'll have to watch it yourself to judge.
yeah. It's just I don't like it when like rape is like used to used to be like, oh, this character is raped, so you now must feel bad. That's why you should care about this character. You know?
Yeah, no, that's not how rape is used.
No, I know. I'm not saying it is used like that. I'm saying is I hate shows or movies that do that, where it's like, oh, this character is raped, thus feel bad for this person. I feel like that's sort of disgusting in a way. Actually, kind of offensive to a degree. I'm using the O word, offensive. But yeah, in those cases, I think it is.
So thankfully, Goblin Slayer is a bit more depth than that.
Like I don't want to sound like an SJW.
This is the way it actually kind of goes. Imagine Doom Guy in a fantasy setting. And rather than demons, he kills goblins.
And I'm not, and I hope people don't think I'm being SJW by saying rape. This should be portrayed this way, or that should be portrayed that way. And I'm not saying that. Like, if you do it in an overly, I'm sure you can do it in an overly comedic setting. What I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna do it seriously, like take it yourself seriously. Like, don't just don't just use it as like a cheap way to gain sympathy for a character, because otherwise I'll just be by you as a person and stuff, and not like as that. Like, does that make any sense, or do you think I'm just being an SJW?
You're being more sensible than SJW, who only re about it.
So, like, I'm being a sensible SJW?
If there is such a thing, you are it, PoppaG.
Thank you.
Yes, PoppaG is the endangered species of the internet.
And the reason why I bring it up is...
And there is a rape scene in the Goblin Slayer, I'll say right now, although the character that is raped is not the main character, you never see the character that's raped again.
Well,
yes, he is traumatized beyond all belief. The main character who sees it is traumatized, but she decides to use it to get stronger so it doesn't happen again.
And it's...
There.
Interestingly, though, the way it does it in Berserk, the character that gets raped sort of, like, devolves as a character. And if it did it wrong, it could have been like really bad and whatnot. Like, I have a feeling if feminists ever saw Berserk, some would go like really berserk, because like on paper, if I explain to you what happens, it sounds really sexist and stupid because the character that gets raped evolves as a character because of it and whatnot. But it's
just from looking at the kind of clothes characters in Berserk wear, I'm gonna guess it's kind of not a very modern day setting. So, of course, there's going to be sexism in it.
No, it's not. And, like, that's part of, like... I can't get into it right now, but it's sort of all looped together. It's like poetry. It rhymes. George Lucas would love it. Seriously, though, like, if I were to explain all of it about why it works and why it makes sense and whatnot, I'd be here, like, for fucking millennia, because there's a lot to unpack with Berserk. Thematically, I know that's become a meme to hate on themes because of 13 Last Jedi reviews, but... like, there's a lot of stuff to unpack. I would definitely recommend reading or watching some Berserk. Not the new Berserk that's animated.
Yeah, okay.
I just wanted to touch on that, you know. I haven't seen Goblin Slayer. Check it out. I honestly probably wouldn't have checked it out at all for this controversy, so maybe I will.
Which I'm guessing is probably why they marketed it that way. I mean, if
that
was the way the show's producers marketed it on purpose to piss off SJWs, well, then congratulations, you did a great job there. I mean, that is a new way to market. I'll give them that. Piss off a minority of people that nobody likes. That minority writes about it, and everyone else then checks it out.
And also, I just wanted to bring this up. Another reason why I wanted to like bring up this rape topic was just because I feel like when done poorly, rape is like really bad for the plot or like the story, because it can be used as a shallow manipulation, you know?
Well, here it's used to kind of show this is how outright terrible and heartless the bad guys are, so don't have any sympathy for them. It's outright said in the show they do this on a regular basis. Don't feel sorry for them. They do this on a regular basis.
So, with that topic out of the way, should we end for the night?
No, is there anything else? Well, I mean, to give you an idea, Darkness 2 is in a brothel at the moment, so I'm not sure we could really end here. Is there any other topic that we could talk about? Okay, here's a section I think could possibly get popular. What game do you think any other Sarkeesian should have done a video on that would have actually been justified?
What video should you... One thing I think would have been justified in, I think, would have been Ride to Hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, at the Risen Sound SJW, the way they portray women is not very, particularly good.
As a me, she didn't do Ride to Hell Retribution in that one. I mean, that one, I was like, oh god damn it, I can't do a response to this one. I actually agree with most of her points. Yeah. What's Ride to Hell Retribution? Well, you meet women being harassed by men that believe they're entitled to sex. You save them, and then you're entitled to sex. I was like, wait, what? That's how that works? Really? Why didn't no one teach me that? And also, apparently, sex, we were taught sex wrong in school. It happens while you're fully clothed.
Yeah, that's kind of pretty silly. I wonder if I'm supposed to laugh at those scenes, or if, like, they, or if, like, we were actually supposed to be totalized by it.
I don't know. It was just really creepy and wrong in the way that it was executed.
Fair enough. Anyway, should we end off here, or...?
Unless you can think of any other topics. I don't know. Can you?
Not really, no.
In which case, I guess we can stop here then. Since we're kind of boxed in an event anyway. Oh, no, we're not. Okay.
Have a great day, everyone, and, see you next time.
See ya.